Well, hello, Bob Dendry here, and welcome back to Transport Fever 2, the long game. So, over the next couple of weeks, hopefully things should get back to normal, or a bit more normal in terms of the timetable of uploads. Obviously, I've moved house, and things are looking pretty good now. I think everything's pretty much organised in the new place. We're looking pretty good. So, I've got a bit more time to record and edit, which is good, because I've been missing this. So, let's jump in and, get back to this game that we all love so much. Now, I want to start with something a little bit unusual, something we haven't necessarily been really focusing on, and that is our town development. As I was getting organized to do this episode, I was having a look at Oklahoma City here, and you can see that obviously Oklahoma is sprawling quite a bit, even compared to probably cities that are a little bit bigger. There's under 3,000 people in Oklahoma, but it looks massive, doesn't it? It's even starting to expand onto the other side of the river here as well. But it's pretty much pinned up against the side of the map really at this point because of this, 4-track main line. Our cross-river main line is really not allowing it to grow. And what I'd like to do at the start of this episode is actually see if we can spend a bit of time establishing some crossings over our main line here to allow Oklahoma to start to grow a little bit on the other side, which will be good for the city itself, obviously, and it's going to be good for us as well because it'll allow us to increase our passenger base. So first of all, what I want to do is just, I guess, start off where we're going to be looking in terms of connections to our station here. So obviously we're going to actually need to get a new entrance set up here. Which we don't have. We might as well upgrade our platforms a little bit as well, add some coverings and things like that. This is 240 meters long. We could potentially expand this, but potentially in this direction here, obviously not towards our big freight station, but I think we're going to leave it for the moment. Definitely we will get a new passenger building set up here, however. Yeah, we can probably get a medium building here, I would say. We could maybe get a large side building. And maybe get some mediums on the side as well. And I think that should be pretty good. So we'll get a road along here that will allow access to that new entrance to the station on the other side of the railway. I did say I was going to add some platform roofs as well, which we're going to do here. Perfect, looking good. And then, let's set up a few ways to actually access the other side. I wonder if we might be able to reclaim a little bit of land and have a road run under the bridge. That might be a good starting point, I think, because that'll allow us to do that without having a heap of conflict and a heap of bridging and crazy stuff like that. So I'm gonna guess too much slope. We go down. Of course, we're going to be colliding with the river, so we might need to do a little bit of earthwork here. We should be able to just flatten this out like so. Reclaiming a little bit of land, as we said. We're still managed to collide with the river. Let's see if we do that. And we curve around. No, we're still colliding a little bit. But we should be able to just take that out a little bit further, I think, to fix that. At least I hope anyway. Yeah, perfect. And I think we can join up sort of... What the hell is that? What is that supposed to be? Whoa. It looks like there's been an earthquake or something and buildings have been collapsing. That's a bit odd. I'm going to pretend I don't see that at this point. We'll have to remove a couple of buildings, of course, but I think that should be okay. Can I, smooth this away? Yeah, okay. I don't know what's happening there. Obviously, something's a bit weird. All up the entire riverbank, in fact. Yeah, I don't know. We might see if we can smooth the sharp edges we sort of established here by building that. That looks good. We actually need to build more here. Okay, cool. That looks all right. And when joins straight up there. So cool. We've got a first little bit of a connection to the other side of the rail line. We'll do a bit more smoothifying, make things look a little bit nicer. And I wonder if we can, I was going to say make a connection to here, but not really, because I suppose we could connect across this. This is a branch line. It's not really a serious connection whatsoever. We can probably build a level crossing. Only 2 trains use it. So we might be able to make a bit of a back road connection through here. That should as well, hopefully, get rid of some of this traffic, which is terrible. But we're probably way out of our depth in terms of handling that traffic at this point. Look, it's ridiculous. But establishing alternate routes is definitely a way we can hopefully try and branch out and avoid some of that. And we've got this sort of highway we built. I don't think it actually made it onto an episode. But as a bit of a sort of, I guess, connection through, though, it actually ends a little bit. So that might be a project we can work on as well, trying to sort of formalize this as a main sort of connection through, and hopefully get some people using that. But yeah, we can extend that a bit. We'll remove this connection, punch it through, and then I guess do some, well, they're not really going to be junctions because this is not motorway grade. But definitely some sort of main connections that we're sort of prioritizing through here. Oh, hang on a sec. If I'm honest, probably 90 is probably better. Even 80, at least through these sections here, but we'll see if we can fix those up down the line a little bit. We might then switch back to regular sort of streets, and we can connect right up here, straight in front of our our station as well. And I just want to get some connections back in here as well. And probably don't need dirt roads either, do we? And yeah, this is a bit of a side quest we're doing right now, sort of trying to formalize a secondary highway connection through Everett. But I think this is probably an important piece of work we could definitely do here. But obviously it's a little bit tricky because, and I like this about the game, it's not developed as a grid. So there are some changes we need to make to sort of formalize a connection. I think we can probably realign this sort of section to run a little bit more direct. I think that probably makes sense to do. We just sort of like punch it through like that. And we can get rid of this as well. And yeah, we can see if we can do something like that. I don't think that's going to work because it probably is quite a, as it says, a narrow angle. But we can maybe do something like this. Like so. That's a bit of an ugly connection. Which it immediately remade anyway. Obviously it likes having that connection there. Just pause and try and redo with that. I'm going to make it a bit more dramatic here. And then we can curve it back in like that. I like that a lot better. And we should be able to get some new cross connections in as well. But yeah, hopefully at least we can, now that we've sort of formalized this as a bit of a proper sort of through connection, we will maybe get some more people moving through there. And let's see if we can get another connection over the top, potentially. I think we should be okay if we just take a road and just pop it over the top like that. I think that is going to be fine. I don't think we're going to have too much in terms of arguments or anything like that. And we should be able to do a direct connection like that. Going down is going to be a little bit trickier. We might need to slightly sort of rebuild a bit of a section here, but I think otherwise it should be okay. It is saying too much slope. It's not the worst slope I've ever seen. We might even be able to shorten the flat segment a little bit as well. Or even not have a flat segment and have it on the way down. I'm actually wondering if we could just lower the entire bridge span. There we go. Okay. Oh, collision. Okay. That should be fine. And then we can build this back around. Cool. All right. It's not the best connection I've ever made, but it does work and it's going to allow some more connection. We can already see that a few people are actually starting to use this sort of back, I guess, way we could call it, to get through to Everett and beyond. So that's good to see, and it does indicate that there's some demand for a connection here, as we are also seeing some people coming through this way as well. So good. That is absolutely good to see, and hopefully introducing some alternate routes like this will help us to reduce the massive amounts of congestion we are seeing in some parts of the city. And look at that. I was only away from Oklahoma for like 2 minutes or something, and we've already got a few residential buildings popping up. So hopefully that will allow the city to grow a little bit more, and hopefully will also reduce some of the stress on this sort of main road we've got running between Oklahoma and Glendale. Hopefully. Don't know if that'll work or not in actual fact, but I'm trying. And you can't fault me for that, surely. I've been spending a little bit of time looking at this schmozzle we're seeing here with, well, nothing looks particularly good on this side of the map. To be honest, at all, especially our road traffic is looking a bit stuffed at this point. But I've been having a look at what opportunities we might have, and I think we might have potentially an opportunity to run another motorway from Chandler and potentially actually join up with our existing motorway here at Wilmington. And I'm thinking we might try and do that. Basically what we'll do, we'll start over here at Chandler. We're going to run pretty much the edge of the map, have a junction here, have a junction or an interchange at Glendale, past this other side of Everett, have an interchange there, and see if we can pretty much just join up and maybe even reroute so that the sort of through movement will be curving around, and this is just another interchange like any other. So let's see what we can do here. We might even see if we can increase this to a 3-lane motorway as well, which hopefully will allow us to well, really reduce the amount of congestion, hopefully. And I know that building up motorways is sometimes actually not the best thing, like adding extra lanes. But we'll see if we can. We're going to have to destroy a few roads here, but let's see if we can skirt a 3+3 motorway along the edge of the map here. And it looks like we might do all right, to be honest. It looks all right. The problem is actually going to come where we need a interchange here, so we might see if we can bring it in a little bit further. In fact, try and get it like the closest we can have it to... that's a motorway, right? No, that's actually not a motorway. The large highway. Okay, the large highway. So can people walk on that? It looks like they can, which I don't like, to be honest. Oh well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. 110, I think, is like the standard. At least in Australia anyway, the standard speed for a motorway. So I think we're looking pretty good if we can get that. Okay, that looks pretty good. And big problem, or not problem, but big challenge is going to be building the parallel road, which is, of course, not going to be the easiest thing. So I'm just going to be sort of monitoring this quite closely, seeing if we can keep these relatively even. Of course, they're not going to be, we know that. But I'm going to do, I guess, the best I can to keep them, yeah, well, I mean, not like that. That's silly. Fairly parallel. Yeah, it looks a little bit silly. In hindsight, I wouldn't have used this sort of bridge. But I thought it'd be a cool, like, centerpiece sort of bridge. I'm thinking like the Anzac Bridge in Sydney or something like that. But it is what it is. It is what it is. And then we will have sort of our link road. I don't know where we'll have that connect up though. I mean, we could just like dump it like this. It's not the worst shout, I guess. I'm sure it's okay like that. Should be fine. And we just need to make our connections, which is the trouble, usually. That one's alright. This one is not going to be alright. Yeah, as we can see, it's quite dramatic. We might have to see if we can sort of kick these out both at a bit of an angle. Let's try that one again. Could be worse. Could be worse. So that's the first, I guess, interchange on our motorway built. And we can probably try and get in the second one as well, couldn't we? And we need to decide where we're going to be punching through as our sort of main road. And it's ideally going to be one that will get us all the way into the city without sort of any breaks. I'm thinking this one is probably going to be a good shout. And we'll just need to upgrade some of the streets. But other than that, I think it's a pretty good choice. Now, I'm hoping we can actually get our sort of forks or our ramps on, I should say, not forks. Don't know what I'm on about there. And hopefully it should be okay. We're just going to probably build an extra little stretch here. And that should allow us to connect up there, I think. So I'm hoping this is going to work. Bridge pillar connection is okay. I don't think it really matters too much. It might be a little bit close there. It might actually be easier if we build our ramps first. And then go from there. So if we like build this, have it go down and connect on somewhere. Right there is looking good. And then do the same in the other direction. Of course, we're like ultra close to the edge of the map here. It's even wanting to sort of snap off the map, which is how how close we are, I guess, to utter devastation here. Okay, that's not going to work. Nice. Okay, I think that's pretty good. And then we should be able to, or hopefully, should be able to, build a road across here. Not enough, or too much slope. Come on. Collision. Actually, this is a problem of our undoing a little bit, I think. And we should be able to fix this by rebuilding our own road here. And we should be able to do the same here. Lovely. We've got a little ramp there. And I think that's actually not too bad. It's not too bad. Of course, it could be better, as you expect. Could be better, could be worse. But it hopefully should start to get some people moving into this new, I guess, way of getting around. I'm not seeing anything yet. Could be worse. Then it should be pretty much a straight run to around the back of Glendale here. You might just trim the city a little bit. But other than that, we should be good here. This is going to be, I would say, a fair bit easier in terms of how this will run. Alrighty, and another interchange required here. I believe this road is going to be our best bet. And this, of course, isn't as tight, so this should be a little bit easier to build. All right, so we've got 3 destinations, I guess, on our motorway. And there are a few people using it. Excellent. That is really good to see. That's exciting. And hopefully we should start to see, especially on this bit of a rat run, that's really an industrial road. Hopefully we should start to see some of this die off. So pretty much what we need to do now is take it a little bit away from the map hedge, probably run just on the left side of this machine factory. And over our main line, and pretty much just join up here and convert this into a bit of a link road rather than being the actual end of the motorway. I think the sort of section from this road onwards is going to be the trickiest, so we might build that first and join up everything else after that. All right, so the sort of 3 major bridge spans are done. So I think we should be good now, just to go about making our actual connections. As you can see, we're going to be going with a raised sort of motorway, not sort of bridged, but definitely a little bit higher than the surrounding roads, things like that. And hopefully that will allow us, if we need to sort of tunnel under it or something like that. Now you're probably wondering what the hell is this. It's a bit of a spooey. It's a bit of a single point urban interchange, which hopefully should. I mean, it's really line ball whether or not this will do anything, because the traffic in Transport Fever 2 is not heaps advanced in terms of how it handles things. But I think it's a cool sort of interchange. Maybe if you're lucky, there'll be some real life examples of them up on screen. And they do definitely, I think at least, smooth out the traffic a little bit, depending on how they're used, of course. And I have a bit of work to do reversing some directions. These are actually supposed to be one way, which they're not. So that's a bit of my bad moment as well. Cool. That should function now as well. So if we're lucky, we might just start to see a few people that are wanting to continue up towards Everett, I guess, from Glendale and Oklahoma. All right, now it's time for the final piece of the puzzle, so to speak, and that is connecting up to our existing motorway. So let's pause, because we are going to break. In fact, we're actually going to break public transport lines doing this as well, which I forgot about. So definitely lucky we did pause. So we should be able to pretty much connect this direct, really. There shouldn't be too much stopping us from doing that. Actually, that's easy as. And just need to swap around some directionality, and we're easy. We're heaps good here. We can, of course, in fact, what we can do here is make this road into a bit of a link road that links all the way through and allows movements in all sort of 4 directions as well. So that's actually a good shout. Thanks, brain. I'm probably keen to also reduce the amount of connections here as well. That will probably assist in reducing the amount of congestion as well. Of course, we're going to have to put some new ones in, like here, for example. But I think that should make things flow a little bit better as well. Try and use the existing corridor so we don't remove more buildings than we need to. From here, I think hopefully we can go under. We probably can. We just need to go a little bit lower. Lovely. And then we can get rid of some of these connections, because we'll be redoing those as well. Ooh, just head around the edge of this industry. Let's see if we can extend the 3 lanes a little bit further. I know we can't take it all the way because our roads are a bit close together, I believe. We should be able to take it at least part of the way. In fact, we can get a fair amount of it, but not to there. Here is where our brakes, probably due to our junction here. So we might be able to further develop that a little bit down the line. But yeah, that's a nice little, I guess, improvement we've been able to do for our existing motorway. But yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty good. We just got this last junction left. I almost unpaused, then I remembered that everything is broken right now. This one's a little bit trickier because it sort of skirts around the outside. I think we can still do it though. Yeah. Well, let's unpause. Everything's not broken anymore, so I'm really hopeful that this should, and it does look a little bit janky, I do admit that, but I think it should hopefully, really encourage people, if they are going to be traveling, to use this motorway and cut down on driving through the middle of our major cities. This is hopefully going to be a major sort of inner city bypass for a number of the major cities on our map. Excellent. We are starting to see a few people, not too many, using the road past Oklahoma, which is good. And I'm hoping we'll start to see a few people on this stretch of the motorway. Not too long. Oh, yes, we already have someone from, I believe this is Everett, if I'm not wrong. Yep. On the way towards Glendale and beyond. Perfect. We've got a few of these people, but they're actually just people who are lost because I just changed where the motorway goes without really telling them. But we should, if we're lucky, see a few people that are wanting to turn onto the motorway. And we are seeing a couple. Obviously, this is really an existing route anyway, this the right turn. So we won't give that too much weighting. But certainly if we see anyone turning left or right here, that will be a big win for us. And there we go. That could well be our first person turning right to go towards Everett. So that is good. That is very good. We should probably replace these old GM fish bowls as well, which only can go 60 k's an hour. So do we have anything faster than that? 100 k's an hour. Cool. Or they might be new flyers actually. No, they're definitely fish bowls. Yeah, 60 k's an hour. So we might chuck on the Maz 103 maybe. Lower capacity, faster loading speed, and heavier. So that probably indicates to us that this is more designed for the longer, I guess, routes on motorways, things like that. So it's a little bit more comfortable. Though it's got 3 doors was a bit weird. That's probably why it actually loads faster, not because it is set up for intercity use. Oh well. In fact, we probably would want it to load slower, wouldn't it? Because there would only be usually 1 door, wouldn't there? Another thing I'm considering doing as well is just connecting up El Paso and Wilmington via a local road connection. Because we do have a fairly short connection we can make through here. We wouldn't want to make this a motorway, anything like this. Probably just like a mid-tier country connection, medium country road. But I think that may just give us the opportunity to, I guess if you're only going from one sort of periphery of each city, it might be easier just to use the straight through connection as well. And that hopefully will encourage some growth in this big empty space here as well. I just want to point this out. At Oklahoma City Tools Factory as well as Chandler Sawmill, we did have massive backups because we were having commuters coming through as a way to get to Oklahoma City and beyond to, Glendale, Everett, and so on and so forth. And it looks like that is really now starting to clear up. So we've got free-flowing traffic here now, which we did not have whatsoever before. as you can see, we've still got issues here, but much of this I would expect is probably traffic that was doing this anyway, or, you know, whatever. Interesting as well, we've got Wichita that has a connection through the backwoods here as well, and I wonder if we could potentially upgrade this road, maybe, and see if we can get it to maybe join up with this sort of main drag we've got running here. Potentially. Not right now, though, because there's another highway-related build I need to do, and that is Richmond here. As you can see, this is the massive backup now. Quite a while away. We were seeing big backups here. That's really... It is going down quite a bit. Obviously, you're going to have those backups and those traffic jams are going to shift along the network, and we are seeing that, of course, with traffic jams in and around Wilmington now as well. A little bit of gridlock, but that should hopefully clear. We're seeing a few cars as well that are using this new country road we've built to link Wilmington to El Paso, which is good as well. But look at this. There's big backups here on our sort of country route and on the motorway, pretty much from El Paso all the way through to Richmond. And part of the reason for that is that people are, if we pop onto our destinations layer, or our, destinations layer, here we go. You'll see that what people are doing here, they are hopping on the motorway, heading in, they're driving through Richmond and then on to Dayton. So this is the only land connection, I believe, or only road connection Dayton has is through Richmond. So we're seeing that people are running through all these other towns through Richmond and to Dayton. Now, the outer suburban loop would have improved this a little bit, but of course there's a limit. There's always going to be people who are wanting to drive their car. Maybe they've got a lot of people, maybe they've got goods, like personal goods they need to carry. So there's always people who are going to need to make this trip. And basically what we're going to do, we're going to take a similar approach to how we handled Wilmington. We are going to have our motorway sort of break off and run through to Dayton where the motorway is going to end. And this sort of connection here will become a bit of a link road again. Yeah, I think that should be okay. Yeah. We might even have the opportunity to have another Richmond interchange on the other side here. And I think that's probably a good idea. I think it's probably a good shout to do that. I'm thinking of how we could build this. This might need to actually be a tunnel, which we can even have sort of go quite deep under Richmond rather than skirting around the outside. I think that actually might work well. We just need to work out where we're going to do that, that tunnel. I think if we sort of follow our existing alignment until this tunnel, rather than breaking out of the tunnel, at that point we'll actually tunnel all the way through to probably about here or so. And this road will actually become the motorway. So we'll remove this country sort of road connection and make it a motorway instead. That might be the quickest place for us to start, to be honest. So if we pause the game, because this cuts off Dayton from the rest of the world pretty much, so they're not going to be happy about that. But we should be able to pretty much do a similar thing to what we did at Chandler. This is probably not the best road to be to be making this connection, because it's a bit of a wibbly wobbly one, isn't it? But it does have direct connection to our crossing over the rail line. So on that basis, yeah, it probably is actually the best place for us to make that connection. We'll do an extra large street if we can. We might need to remove this one so we get a straight on start. And then from there, yeah, we're pretty much good to start motorwaying. We'll take a similar approach, I think, to how we made the Dayton connection work. At least we'll try to do it that way anyway. Okay, cool. And pretty much here is where we're going to start our tunnel. So this road here will become a bit of a link road itself, and it will join up with the motorway. And can we not snap? Yeah, perfect. Okay. Excellent. And yeah, from there we can sort of skirt under Richmond and join up sort of after this bridge, I think is where we'll... Actually, no, sorry. We were going to tunnel the whole way, weren't we? Should we do that? It's probably very expensive to do that, and we don't need to. So no, I'll probably change my mind on that one, and we'll not tunnel the whole way. But there is one direction, and then we'll do the other one. And we are sailing a little bit too close to the sun here, so we might need to slightly realign this. We've got some generic construction not possibles going on right now. And this is a little bit not the best in terms of the connection. They don't stay close together. And they're also a little bit different in terms of the levels, but we might just need to make that work, to be honest. But let's see. No, we can't upgrade any further than this. And pretty much everything is going to collide. So we are going to need to rebuild a little bit of this to be able to upgrade everything to 3 lanes, but it mostly works. Mostly works. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Also didn't mean to unpause either. We'll quickly pause again. And we've got this guy who's a bit stuck, so we're going to need to help him to make his way to where he needs to belong. I think everything else is fine though. And we'll probably need to do this similar to this one here in terms of our junction and make it a partial cloverleaf. That's just based on the configuration, really. All right, so the parklow's done. A little bit ugly, but it works fine. Or fine enough anyway. And I think all we need to do is to build the connection with Richmond, which will be another parklow, I would guess. This one will be a little bit nicer, I think, in terms of how it functions. It's ugly as, let's be honest. That doesn't make it any better at all. But it is what it is. Who's upset? Oh yes. You, my friend. You need a path. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to get you one, if I'm honest. How do I bulldoze anyway? How do I do that? Ugh. There we go. Fixed. So this is, or should be at least, quite a major development. Fingers crossed. Well, overall, I think we did pretty well this episode in terms of getting some of our road congestion fixed up. Of course, a lot of these congestion issues we're having, especially around, Glendale, around Everett, Richmond, they are very deep-seated and they've been going on for a very long time. So when we build this magical, amazing motorway, whatever you want to call it, yes, it does fix congestion issues, but it also moves some down the line, and some, while they are fixed, are going to take a very long time essentially to go away, because we're talking about kilometers upon kilometers of traffic that is backed up, so it'll take a long time for that really to go away. But yeah, I think we did pretty well regardless, and I'm keen to keep watching these congested areas over the next couple of episodes to make sure things are slowly but surely going down. That is all the time I got for this episode, so I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you get a ding to your device the next time I post a video. You can find links to all my social media in the description, so please jump on there, like, follow, subscribe, do all that wonderful stuff. Big shout out to my Founders Club patrons, Caleb and Isaiah. Thank you so much to the two of you for helping to make this content possible. But until next time, I'm Bob Dendry. This is Transport Fever 2, The Long Game. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.